The following podcast has been rated PGN. Parental guidance is neglected.
Boy, it's been a long time since we've had a little father-son chat.
I am your father.
Father, if you can hear me, I failed.
Don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I'm here with my dad.
I know what you're gonna say, son. And you're right. You're right.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
I've abandoned my boy!
Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're doing a special cooking edition where I will be doing meal planning for the next week. Is this the right podcast? Am I doing the right podcast?
No,
right
you're oh my God, you sound like you're in the kitchen. You are in the kitchen, and
I am in the kitchen. For audio listeners, I'm in the kitchen.
Okay, we're gonna have to apologize right off the bat here. The audio is not gonna be great on this.
Yeah.
Jackson has been displaced from his normal studio, which I assume is your bedroom at your campus apartment. So he, boy, I hope you really, really like us because he's going to sound like he's underwater probably for the entire podcast. So,
you know what? I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to try to do some audio technique magic.
Yeah, you're a film student. Can't you fix this in post?
I'm not a sound. You think I'm a sound guy? I look like some kind of 40-year-old guy with a hunched over back.
Yeah. Have you taken sound yet? Oh, you know what? You just totally described every sound guy.
I know I did. And listen, props to the sound guys because I took audio one. I had to as a required course. Good grief, man! What a world that is. I was drowning in that. I mean, I did well. Like I got good grades, but like wow, the work was tough.
Yeah, audio's a lot of grind and a lot of cans on your head. So listen, our apology. Well, you know what? This is going to be. Why are we even doing this? I'm sick, so I'm going to sound like I'm nasally the entire podcast.
Yep.
And I'm going to apologize right now. I'm probably going to be coughing up phlegm. I've got some kind of chest thing. Jackson, you had it what, last week?
Yeah, I had it actually 2 weeks ago, but I'm just now starting to smell again, which I know you're thinking like COVID. I took 8 COVID tests because I had to be on set. So it wasn't COVID. I think I just got really sick, and then it just took a long time to go away because I had to be on set at the same time. It was just like it was a nightmare. I thought I had a sinus infection. I'm fine now. Also, if I'm like talking at a lower level and I seem lower energy, it's just I literally have the mic in my mouth right now to try to limit the echo. So
no, you sound good here. Better than
the one takeaway I want you guys to have is you should feel really sorry for us, and that's the one thing that I want to project in this podcast.
Yeah, and we have to apologize. It has been 2 long weeks since we've been able to do an episode. Either Jackson has been busy with classes and films, that's making movies, not seeing them, or as some people may know if they're friends of ours, his sister got her wisdom teeth taken out this week, and I've been solo dad and taking care of her while mom's out of town. Yeah, mom's out of town. Yeah, so it's just been really hard for us to see lots of films. Although I've seen quite a bit just because
I've seen quite a bit just through classes. I've seen so many movies. I have 2 different classes that are basically just watching movies, so I'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what? I need to remind myself what I even saw.
You don't even remember.
So get that ready
once again, hit that. My apologies that my son is not even prepared for a podcast. Do you know how many hours of pre-show I put into this? I mean, do you have any idea?
I want to know. I want you to tell me how many hours right now.
About 5 minutes. 5 minutes beforehand. I just kind of put together my thoughts on that.
That's fair
so
enough.
it's been a few weeks. Listen, I have not talked to you a lot. You've been busy. What are you doing? I've been
real busy. I'm in a lot of pre-production stuff right now. I've been in and off of set. I got sick. Right. Classes have been a little crazy. I'm trying to, keep track of all my stuff. I'm on top of it. But being on top of it costs. It costs. But I have seen
fame
a lot
costs,
of movies.
Jackson. Fame costs, and this is where you start earning
Fame
it.
does cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the start of the downfall.
You have no idea what that reference to. That's to the movie Fame. You never saw Fame. Did you see Fame?
No. Fame's a musical, right?
It is a movie with
That's a yes.
music in it. It's
That's a
not.
yes.
No. It's the whole movie takes place at the New York School for Musical and Dramatic Arts or something.
Didn't they make a show out of that? Or am I crazy?
Oh no, it was a huge TV show for years. So there's songs in it, but it's not like people are cooking in the kitchen and then suddenly they go, "I wonder what we're having." You know, it's like kids suddenly will just put on a musical number, or they'll have a class where they dance.
Oh, there's a movie that a bunch of my friends saw and they loved it, and it was kind of like an older movie that was like that. Oh my god, this is gonna kill me. I'm gonna.
What, was it White Chicks?
Oh jeez. I think you know what? It might have been White Chicks.
Might have been White Chicks.
Let me.
Wait, a movie like. Wait a minute.
Wait
a minute. A movie like Fame, but not Fame. Fame is actually.
It wasn't Fame, but
Fame's a great.
It was like
film.
a similar idea. It was a similar idea where it was like it's not a musical, like it's like a theater production.
Huh.
I'm trying to.
Fame was directed by Alan Parker, who also did The Commitments, which you know is one of my favorite films. Which I think I made you watch. Didn't I make you watch The Commitments?
Which one's that one? Jog my memory real quick.
The Irish band. The guy's putting together a small band, a blues band.
That was a great movie. I love that.
Yeah,
that was great. Who was in that? Because who was the main guy in that?
Oh, I don't know. A bunch of Irish dudes that we never heard from again.
I was gonna say because he was really good in that. That's really unfortunate.
And great music. So, like, you know how like The Commitments, that wasn't really a musical. It was a movie about a band, and so there was a lot of musical numbers.
Right.
Fame was exactly the same. It was a movie that just had music in it. It wasn't so much there's one sequence where they all like break into song on the street, and it's somewhat choreographed, but.
I was talking about All That Jazz is what I was mentioning.
Oh, All That, yeah, that won the Oscar, I think. That's Roy Scheider. A lot of people love
Everyone
that film.
keeps saying I need to see that, and I gotta get on that. God, there's too many movies to see.
I know. I don't think that's your thing either. Maybe.
I don't think it is either, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
You know what? Not the top of my list, but if I get around to it, I get around to it.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so you've been busy at school. I've been running around like a maniac and taking care of your little sister.
And sick.
Man, I've been sick for like 3 days. It was just so. Yeah. It's absolute worst. And it can't slow me down because your mother's not here. But I'm picking her up today, so she'll be back.
How's she doing? She recovered? Is she on the up and up?
I think she's ready to come home. I think she loves seeing her family, but
no, I was talking about Killian.
Oh,
the wisdom teeth surgery.
I thought you were talking about your mom. I think your mom's just very tired just from travel and the jet lag you go across, and then she's fine. She's over at her boyfriend's right now. So,
jeez.
Speaking of boyfriends and that kind of stuff, so you're out of your bedroom, huh? Are they in there right now? So if people don't know, your roommate is in there right now with his girlfriend.
Yep.
And let's mark the time. It is.
I'm gonna do this part real quiet. It is past noon.
It is 12:28. So they are either really sleeping in or they are knocking boots.
I was in there about 5 minutes ago, and they are clocked. So
good Lord, wait a minute, hold on. You walked in. What if unannounced? Did you like do the little Do you guys do like a sock on the door or something, or is there some kind of code?
There's locks.
There's locks. Okay, so if the door is unlocked, you know you can enter.
Free range.
Yeah. So there's no like little thing you hang.
Because also, God, I'm trying to do this real quiet. I don't want someone to hear me.
Yeah.
The shower and the bathroom are in there, so like I would, I have to get through.
Well, yeah,
to get to my
you got to get
bathroom
cleaned up
deal.
and whatnot.
Yeah, of course.
Interesting.
I'm not gonna go around smelling.
I don't know if I like. I don't know if I like the lock thing because I feel like it has to be something like there should be like a do not disturb, like a hotel thing on the outside or a bandana.
We do have one actually right there on our pantry.
Oh yeah, there is.
Just never use
Why
it.
do you have it? Oh, that's the one you would use and you don't even bother.
I think we thought, oh, it's funny, put it on the pantry.
Yeah,
that's a good idea though.
Hey,
don't know.
am I coming down this weekend to see you? There's rumor.
Yes, I was going to talk to you about that actually.
So you're Jackson.
We can talk about that off podcast if you want. I feel like that's literally that's like.
No, Jack. Everyone. We'll get to movies. Everyone wants to.
Okay, fair enough.
Jackson and his boys are trying to get a house for your junior year. You want to move off campus. You're on campus right now. So basically, you want to rent a house, destroy it, and then get me sued because of the damage you've done.
That is the plan.
That's
correct.
the plan.
Yes.
Word for word. But there's a rumor that I need to come look at a property this weekend. Is that still supposed to happen?
Yeah, I got the email today that we're good for tomorrow at 12.
Tomorrow at 12. Okay, so I come and check out this bachelor pad of debauchery and. Now
it is currently being lived in by fraternity members. So keep that in mind when you're looking at it. That the decor will be gone.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it's a lot of posters of girls on the hood of a car and black furniture. And,
couple flags. Yeah.
And a big bucket that holds the keg and that kind of thing. Yeah. Hopefully, they don't leave a bad taste in the. Does the landlord know that you guys are film students?
He does. He was very excited to find out that we were not the usual
fraternity guys.
I think that's kind of a draw. Like people, we've seen a couple of places now, and every time we bring it up, they're always kind of like, "Oh, okay, that's good," because no one's like, "Oh my God, did you go to the crazy film party that was happening this weekend?"
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. Like it was wild. We really got.
Yeah, I mean, you guys.
So it's
Yeah, you guys are always on sets and you're making projects, and not that you don't just have a beer or something every once in a while, but it's not like kegger tonight.
We're not throwing ragers, and the neighbors aren't going to be any noise complaints, basically. So
yeah, you get shut down where you are anyways. A bunch of old people everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
I have friends that live in the neighborhood right now, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a quiet area."
It's quiet. All right. Well, I'll come take a look at that tomorrow, and we will check in with you next week and let you know if, in fact, we'll have Jackson's address, you can send mail.
In fact, let's put the address on screen right now for everyone to see.
Everyone can pop in at any point to discuss.
Check in Google Earth.
Jackson's movie thoughts. It's the PGN podcast. It stands for Parental Guidance is Neglected. I have influenced my son into going into the most unstable business that you possibly can, and that's the entertainment industry. So good luck with that, Jackson, while all your friends go to Wall Street.
Thanks, guys.
And make tons of money off Bitcoin. You will be slowly working your way up the ranks in the audience.
Until the day I die.
Nah, I expect good things. As much as we're paying for college, I sure as hell better get good things. Father, son, we talk about movies from two generational standpoints. Normally, we like to go out and see all the same stuff so that we can kind of Siskel and Ebert and go, "You're out of your mind. That was great." It's been really tough for us to see the same things. Jackson has a hard time getting to the theater, and then I refuse to sit through French noir from the turn of the century that he's instructed to watch in his classes.
I will say, I don't think I told you this, but I did make it to theaters this week. However, it wasn't for a new movie. I did go watch the re-release of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
All right, well, let's start with that. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was a huge hit at the time, but was very got a lot of acclaim because, one, it was a foreign film, and at that point, foreign movies were not really huge in the States as much as they have come over the last couple last couple decades. Also, I think it was the first foreign film nominated for Best Picture. I want to
say, yeah, that sounds right.
But
yeah.
I feel like if it wasn't the first, it was up there. But it might have been the first foreign film that it did not win, but was nominated. We talked about this a little bit last week. I think they say it's the anniversary of the film, but I think that they're like Michelle Yeoh is so hot right now.
Yeah, it is for Michelle Yeoh.
So I think it's a bit of a money grab. But also, I'm very curious. I saw the movie in the theaters when it came out. What was it, 25, 30 years ago? I remember loving it. I remember it was very visual for its time. It was all about the wire work and the magic and the acrobatics of it's a fantasy film. I remember a lot of people when they saw it were like, suddenly they're walking on grass and floating and doing. It's like that's the whole point.
Yeah, the bamboo.
Yeah, it's a fantasy film. or at least you could say at least a film with dream sequences. I remember loving it, but it's also a film that I never went, oh, I got to revisit that. So, Jackson, does it hold up? What did you think? First time viewer?
I think it does. I don't think I came out loving it, but I definitely think that the fight sequences were enough for me to be like, what? Like it was so fun. Like those fight sequences, you just can't help but go, wow, like that's so impressive. Especially nowadays. I think the thing with those older movies is that when you take out the CGI and just leave it all to practicals, it looks and feels so much better. Even if you go, they're on wires, it's like, but that's people and they're on actual bamboo and they're really fighting. And they're really fighting people.
It takes a lot of athleticism to be in a harness like
so
that
much.
And flip and roll and kick and twist
and running on walls and still having I feel like so much of the fun of fight, and I think that Everything Everywhere All at Once did bring a lot of that back, and that was really great. But this was really there was so much more of a focus on the fighting where I was like, God, you can't help but sit back and go, wow, this is so much fun to watch, and the time spent to make it happen is crazy. I also think it's really strange that Ang Lee, the director, after this film, went and did Brokeback Mountain, which was, I keep on forgetting that, which is such a weird turn.
Ang Lee was a very strange, I don't know where he is now. He was kind of the man for a while. He was very odd in that his films were, I think after Crouching Tiger, he did a movie called The Ice Storm, which was kind of like this low-key drama about suburban couples. Then Brokeback Mountain. He also did The Hulk.
I saw that too.
the kind of the artsy fartsy one with William Hurt and I can't remember the guy who played Bruce Banner, but very.
Was that the Edward Norton one?
No, this is before that. No, this is I can't think of his name, but it was the one that wasn't very good. Very interesting and weird choices which I like. Keeps you guessing. How was the crowd? Was there a lot of people there to see Crouch? Is people going to see this?
It was more crowded than I was expecting. I did see it. This is like one of the last days they're showing it, I think. So I did see it later into when they were doing the re-release, but it was still probably like 25 people. Okay. So really not. It was kind of funny actually. I'm sitting in the audience and some. It seemed like either a mom or a grandma was bringing their daughter or granddaughters in. And they sat down and she goes, I just want you guys to know that this is going to be a little bit of a slower movie. I know you're not used to that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, we've gotten to that age where we're giving warnings for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's like, it's not like we sat down to watch, fucking Marriage Story. It's an action movie.
Yeah. But that generation is, they're waiting for the, Fast and the Furious. It's got to come out of the gate. Boom, boom, boom.
But they were my age. And so I'm just like, oh, come on, guys. Let's have it. It wasn't like they were, in their teen. It was like 20-year-olds. And I was like, guys, come on. Let's,
you're a little mature for your
It's kind of like, oh, that's strange that someone has to give that warning.
Yeah. But don't forget, you're a little mature for your age. You're also the generation that somehow has turned Adam Sandler into a trillionaire. So, there's a lot hanging on.
Hey, rightfully so. Bro killed Uncut Gems. He killed Uncut Gems, and I will stand by that. And Punch Drunk Love. He's a fantastic. All right. There's been a really good.
Are you excited?
I've seen a lot of videos about this recently.
Go ahead.
Just about comedic actors doing dramatic roles, and I feel like they always do so well. Robin Williams, like you
Jim
just
Carrey.
said, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey. They always do something about. I think something about comedians, people always say that they usually do comedy because they're just so sad, which I think is they have some kind of trauma. And I'm like, oh, I feel like that really shines well, and I wish people would do that more.
Yeah. So do I. With that said, what do you give Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
A 7. A 7.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. No, it was really fun. I think the plot stuff dragged a little bit sometimes, but the characters were very likable. I was rooting for them the whole time. Yeah. They weren't afraid to shy away from a little bit of, a more controversial ending, I'd say. So I was very happy with it. Not my favorite, but definitely really good. Check it out if you haven't.
All right, there you have it. Speaking of generations, a little segue here, since most people of your generation are not used to seeing older films that don't quite come out of the gate fast. I did see last week the new Marvel movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania. Jackson,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about this. Have you heard about this film?
I've heard a lot about this. I'll say two things. I've heard everyone hates it, and I've heard that the villain or one of the villains looks so stupid. I've seen the pictures. The head guy,
Kang the Conqueror or Kong the Cake.
yes,
Yeah.
I believe that's his name.
Well, that's Jonathan. That's
oof.
Jonathan Majors, the big African American actor who's like in
not
everything right now.
Not him. I mean, maybe he was in the end credit scene, but I'm talking about the big, like it's just like one big head that floats around.
Oh yes. He is. Do I play spoiler alert? He is a villain from a previous Ant-Man movie. In fact, I believe the first one. Who we thought was dead and is now returned. We find out that he was in the quantum realm the entire time, but I don't remember why. He's now kind of disfigured, and his head is like the size of a shed, and then he has little baby feet and little baby hands.
Yeah.
And it is so stupid and so not funny and so weird, and it's like a totally different... Okay. It's directed by Peyton Reed. He did all two of the previous Ant-Man movies. This is the third one. And he also did Bring It On. So take from that what you will. Paul Rudd's back. Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer. Jonathan Majors, who's kind of the it guy right now. We'll be talking about him probably next week with Creed 3. He seems to be in everything. He's the new villain. And then Catherine Newton from Big Little Lies is now the grown-up daughter of Paul Rudd. And Evangeline Lilly, who, by the way, beautiful woman. I loved her on Lost, but she plays the Wasp. She does nothing. First off, everybody in this movie seems bored. Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas. But Evangeline Lilly really just seems like I don't know how I got into this, or everyone's cashing a paycheck here.
Yeah.
Look, everyone knows how I feel about Marvel movies in general. They've got to be special. I'm really burnt out on them. Jackson, this is one of their worst. I mean, this is just... First off,
yeah, I've heard.
The entire movie takes place in this quantum realm. So the whole movie is all these actors in green screen. I mean, everything is, I'm looking at it and going, they're all standing in front of a green screen. None of that's there. Bill Murray has a big cameo in this, and when Bill Murray is not funny, and he's not funny in this, that's bad.
God, that's sacrilege. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never gotten the Ant-Man movies. I think he's fine as like a one-off when those Avenger films when he shows up, but I just don't find that I care about them enough. I was bored out of my mind, and I think the audience was as well. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania for me gets an F. It's the worst film I've seen so far this year.
Wow.
And
I've heard nothing positive.
You know I don't give out Fs very often. I'm like, well, there was some redeeming.
Yeah.
I just couldn't wait for it to be over. I didn't find the...
I've heard even the comic book fans, and it's really hard to disappoint some of those diehard fans. Like, even they're like, wow, we really need to reevaluate how we're making these movies, which is, I think, says something.
I don't know. I had to call Tyler. You know Tyler, buddy of mine, who's really into all this Marvel stuff. There's there's obviously teasers at the end, and I really don't care if I'm spoiling anything. The Kang the Conqueror will be back. I guess he's a big Marvel villain. This guy that they introduced, and then there's a scene that has him as again, and then Owen Wilson shows up in it.
What?
And who's the guy who plays Loki? Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston is in a post-credit scene as Loki, and Owen will. And then I had to call him, and I go, should I understand what any of this means? And he was like, oh, you'd get all of it if you watch Disney Plus's show Loki. And I'm like, I can't. I just can't. I can't, Jackson. I can't.
I think this
I'm
is
like,
where Marvel really screwed themselves because they've made it so where the layman can no longer understand. Like in the first wave of things, where it was like, oh, we got the Hulk and we have
Right.
like, everyone knows those characters,
Right.
and if you go and see the movies, even a couple of them, you know what's going on. But now you have to spend half of your fucking life watching these shows,
Right.
and going to see these like really horrible movies, and no one's willing to do it anymore. So I think that they're going to start seeing a drop off in the people that are really interested in these kind of things.
Yeah. So, sad. Yeah, I'm not gonna say sad. I just like I don't know. What's the next one? What's the next? I'm trying to.
I don't even know.
Usually by now, I guess the next one's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I haven't even seen the trailer for that, to be honest. I haven't.
Oh,
so.
it's Jackson. It's so good. They all have funny little lines. And there's
do they?
there's some fighting and shooting and
Is the raccoon back?
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then Groot's like, "I am Groot," and it's just, oh my god, it's charming.
Oh my
it
god,
looks
that's
both
so
charming
awesome.
and adventurous, and I will.
You know, I did like the first two, but like I said, it's once again, it's just burnout. It's just enough.
Yeah. So not surprised. Are you going to ever drag yourself? Is this going to be a movie that you will one day see, Jackson, for some reason? Or are you like, no, I think the ship has sailed on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Or will you be, is there any scenario where you would suddenly go, I guess I'm going to watch this?
Maybe if for some reason I was with a bunch of friends and it was on Disney Plus and we're like, you know what, let's just put on Ant-Man and we'll just talk over it. Like that seems like
that. So
I don't think I'd sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to sit down and spend
Right.
2 hours of my life watching Quantum Realm
right.
Mania or whatever it's called.
So if it was a drinking game, pretty much that's how you would watch it. Every time, every time Michelle Pfeiffer goes, I've got to tell you all something. I should have told you before. I guess she used to live in the quantum realm.
You trying to kill me?
Yeah. There was a lot of that. Like, what are you not telling us? What's going on here? Listen, I need to tell you. And then something happens, and you're like, oh my god, I don't even care anymore. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, good lord.
So Jackson did not get to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, but he has been assigned many a film through classes. Are you finally out of this early turn of the century? Like, are you past silent films? Are you watching anything cool?
Yeah, we are. Next week is Star Wars, so we're getting there.
The very first one, A New Hope.
A New Hope, in fact. But I have watched a lot of stuff, and not all of them artsy. I'm taking a screenwriting analysis class, so we've been watching a lot of movies in that. Let me just pull up. I was looking up the Bob Fosse movie, so let me just pull this up one more time. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
Bob
blah, blah.
Fosse's, that's all that jazz. That's what that is.
And okay, so I guess we're just getting right into the art house corner.
No. What did you just call it? What did you just call this segment?
The art house corner. The pretentious art house.
Jackson's
corner?
pretentious art house corner.
Pretentious art house corner.
Art house.
There you go.
Pretentious art house film corner.
Gotta give it the respect it deserves.
Yeah, Jackson's pretentious art house film corner.
Yes. So I'll get the big hitters out of the way.
All right, here we go. This is where you go to your refrigerator and get a snack.
Not necessarily. I had to rewatch Training Day.
Okay,
with Ethan Hawke,
Oscar winner
and,
Denzel Washington.
What am I forgetting his name?
Denzel Washington.
Yes, thank you.
Academy Award winner.
You know what? I liked it a lot the first time I saw it, and I wasn't as big on it the second time. Definitely, I think a lot of the charm of it is not knowing where it's going.
Right.
And so once you kind of know what's happening, it's kind of like, but the performances are fantastic.
What's his King Kong line again? What's the King Kong line again?
Oh, is it King Kong ain't got shit on me? Is that what it is?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. That whole scene where they're
so
just
great. That whole scene is so awesome.
Yeah. Isn't Snoop Dogg in that too? Isn't Snoop make a cameo?
He is. He plays a paraplegic drug dealer.
Yeah, I remember that.
He does. Yeah, and also Terry Crews is in it. He has one line.
Yeah.
It's
weird. I just saw. Just to interject, I just saw Terry Crews last night in a movie. Your sister and I, we watched Bridesmaids last night. She had never seen it.
I haven't seen that either. Actually, I've heard great things.
Oh, it's hilarious! I freaking love it. I don't think your sister liked it very much, though.
Really?
Yeah.
She has weird. I feel like she has a different comedy taste than most of the family because she hated Raising Arizona.
Yes.
And in our household, that's
sacrilege. That's like
no, that's you don't do
you
that.
go to the school.
Raising Arizona is the movie.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
comedy to end all comedies in our house.
Oh,
okay, so
absolutely.
Training Day, it kind of held up or kind of didn't, or
It did hold up. I just think that I wasn't as big of a fan on the second rewatch,
Right.
so I still did enjoy it, but I wasn't crazy about it. Training Day is gonna get a 6 out of 10 for me.
what do you think about? Do you think? Obviously, Denzel won the Oscar for that. Ethan Hawke, I don't even remember if he got nominated. He might have got nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but didn't win. Do you think Ethan Hawke's better in that than Denzel? Is that a Denzel movie?
No.
That's
a Denzel movie.
That's a Denzel
Ethan
movie.
Hawke is really good at being a supporting character, but he has better movies for sure.
Right.
And Denzel is really the star of the show. I mean, you watch it for him and his performance. Yeah. Also watched Ocean's 11, the remake with
Everybody.
with
George Clooney,
Yeah,
and Brad
everyone.
Pitt, and Matt Damon.
Clooney, Brad
Okay,
Pitt.
now you watched the first one because there's been 3 of them. But you
Yes, I did watch it was the first one only, but it's the remake of the original
with
Frank
Frank
Sinatra and the
Sinatra.
Rat Pack and
Yes.
all that. Yeah.
Okay. I will tell you that when I first saw that, I loved it. And then they just ran it into the ground with the second and third one. What did you think of it?
I really wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
And I was in the minority on this, but it wasn't. I really wasn't. I don't think it's the fault of the movie. I think the script is really solid. I just think that there's been so many iterations of that. You know, bringing the team together. We're doing the bank robbery since then.
The heist movie.
It's a heist movie, and yeah, and listen, this might be a hot take. I don't really think that George Clooney is that likable. I don't think he's as
Really?
I don't think he's as suave as he thinks he is. I think it comes off a little smarmy. I don't know. I'm not a big George Clooney guy.
I don't think you've seen a lot of his best work though. Like name another.
I definitely haven't. To be fair,
name another George Clooney movie you've seen.
Gravity. He was in Gravity, right? He was
For
the astronaut in Gravity.
about 5 minutes, and then he
I've
gets
seen
sucked into
that.
space.
How can we forget that rom-com he was in?
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah. So you haven't really.
What was
seen.
what was the most recent one he was in?
Has he done romantic comedies lately?
The one he was just in, where we were like, oh my god. we can't watch
with
that.
Julia Roberts. Yes, Ticket to Paradise, which we did.
I
not
was
see.
watched. There was an ad on the TV for a streaming service, and they were advertising that you could watch any movie, and it was like The Godfather.
Right.
It was all these great movies, and then in the middle of nowhere, they just throw in that
Ticket
movie
to
with
Paradise.
those two, and I was like, how are those comparable?
Oh my gosh! All right, don't throw in the
yeah.
towel on Clooney yet. He's actually done some really good work. I'll give you a few titles sometime.
That's fair. I mean, I really know him as Batman, and let's be real. I think
You never saw Oh Brother Where Art Thou, did you? The Coen Brothers.
No,
movie
I do need to watch that.
All right,
I do need to watch that.
Okay, yeah. Don't close the book on Clooney just yet. But the movie didn't hold up for you, huh? Wasn't your thing?
It really didn't. It really wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But the script was really solid, and I think Brad Pitt was really great in it. So I'm gonna give it I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. That's a little harsh, but
Wow.
It wasn't one for me.
For you.
It really wasn't for me.
Hey, you said you liked Brad Pitt in it though. Do you want to know a little trivia about that movie? You may not have picked up on. Do you know?
Tell me.
Do you notice that in every scene Brad Pitt is in, he's eating something? He told the director.
Oh, you're right.
I know. He told the director, it's Soderbergh, right? Isn't it Steven Soderbergh? I think.
Yeah, it is Steven Soderbergh.
He said, "I want to be eating something." He's got a lollipop, or he's having a piece of cake, or he's finishing up. He's eating
funny.
like in every scene. I don't know if it's every scene, but it's just about every scene.
It's most of them for sure.
Most of them,
yeah.
He's always eating something or finishing something. He just wanted to do that. He was like,
it's so funny.
That's my guy.
All right, it's a cool character choice. I respect that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did watch Moana for the first time with my girlfriend.
Oh God, you got dragged into
that was one of her picks.
You got dragged into a.
You know, I've seen worse Disney movies. It was fun enough. I had a good time watching it, but it wasn't. It's not the next. It's not like
you know how I feel about kids movies. Okay, there's been one fantastic kids movie in the last 20 years, and it's Up.
It's up. What did you say? You cut out? Yeah, it's up. I was gonna say it's up.
That's it. Nothing else. I can't go revisit any. I'm never gonna watch. the Toy Story movies are fine, but I don't know. Did you walk away singing the songs? What's the big song from Moana?
Here's my thing. Because Lin-Manuel Miranda did all the music. And if you know me, you know how I feel about Lin-Manuel Miranda.
You don't like him.
No. But I was like, oh my God, that's Lin-Manuel Miranda. And in my Letterboxd review, I was like, oh geez, I can't stand them. I said something about Lin-Manuel Miranda. Right. And then Brooke was like, he's not in that movie. And I was like, that's Lin-Manuel Miranda. I literally know that's Lin-Manuel Miranda. She's like, no, it's not. And so for like a week, I was like, oh my God, he's not in that movie. And he literally is. He literally is in that movie. But yeah, Moana gets a 5. It was right down the middle. I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it. It was just kind of.
Hold on, just to be clear, you gave Moana a 5.
Yeah. Yep.
You gave Steven Soderbergh with George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Don Cheadle, Elliot Gould, Andy Garcia. You gave that a 3.
Yeah, I did.
Jesus,
I don't like that movie.
You should turn in your penis card right now. You don't even deserve it.
Yeah, but listen, that's kind of it for the big movies. I watched 2 smaller art house movies. One of them I liked a lot. One of them I hated. Battle of Algiers was great. Black Girl wasn't so. Battle
of Algiers. You liked?
Loved it. Really, really great movie. Really great war movie. And then this movie called Black Girl was just really excruciatingly boring.
Who made Black Girl? What is that? Is that a?
It's
an American film?
Sembeni?
Oh my God!
It's African.
Oh. Well, yeah, it's called Black Girl, Jackson. I'm just wondering what country it came from.
It had a lot to say, and I respect it to a high degree. But geez, it was really, really, really boring.
Not very good. But you like Battle of Algiers? No. That was a war movie. Was it better?
But the one I do want to talk about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Was Battle of Algiers better than All Quiet on the Western Front?
No, Battle of Algiers. I gave Battle of Algiers an 8. It was really good. All Quiet got a 9.
Gotcha. And what does Black Girl get? Seeing how a 3, so it gets the same as Ocean's 11 with George Clooney, Don Cheadle, Matt Damon, Carl Reiner.
Just to be clear.
Okay, just want to. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The one I do want to talk about, though, is I did sit down and watch, I mentioned this to you, one of the foreign film nominees for this year.
I've been
seeing some buzz around this one. All right,
so let's talk Oscars a little bit. Before you get into this, I will let you know, we'll go ahead and tease it now. Next week is our special Oscar episode of the PGN podcast. We will be doing that next week. We have to because it's the week before the big award show. You're going to want to tune in, especially if you're doing an Oscar pool in your office or with your friends. You are going to want to hear my predictions for the winners, and then you're going to want to laugh at Jackson's. So tune in next week, where we will both say who. We will go through each category, maybe not like short documentary or some ones that aren't, but all the relevant ones that we wanted to talk about. We're going to go the big hitters. We're going to go through and we're going to give our predictions of who we think will win. And we're also going to say who, if we were picking, who we think should win. Might be the same, might not. So that's going to be next week. And we will also try to see, big release next week is Creed 3. If we can, we'll squeeze that in as well. But do not miss our Oscar episode next week. Okay, so which foreign film? Well, now, nominated this year is obviously All Quiet on the Western Front and Argentina 1986 or 85, and then what's the other one? The film I liked.
The one that I watched is called EO.
EO, which is also one of the 5. That's from Korea or
Sweden.
Sweden. Okay, so not even remotely right. Go on.
Yeah. So EO is it's kind of a loose remake of another Swedish film from the 60s called All House Balthazar. EO is a movie that, come on, guys. This is common knowledge. EO is a film that follows a donkey. The main character is a donkey. It's a donkey that works in a circus, and the circus gets shut down for animal cruelty, and it basically follows the life of this donkey post the circus.
Is this Dumbo?
Yeah. It's not Dumbo. It's really not Dumbo. It's imagine. Do you know that? Remember that book that we used to read when we were little called Nubs about the dog, like the military dog who's like got lost from its owner and tries to find its way back.
No, I hated reading to you as a child. I avoided it like
a lot.
I avoided it like the plague.
Well, it's kind of like that, but if it was way more adult and ended in like the worst, most depressing possible way.
Is
it's
this an
basically
animated
just
movie?
watching. No, this is live action. 6 different donkeys played EO. It's one of the. It has the best cinematography I think of a lot of the films that were nominated this year. I don't know if it was the best, but it was definitely up there.
No. Okay, what is the? It's better than Bardo.
No, I didn't. I misspoke. It's one of the best. I think it deserves a nomination.
Okay.
I think that it's a little bit below Bardo, but I think it's close.
Okay.
It's a very similar style, actually. I think a lot of it is reminiscent of that kind of style of cinematography, but it looks beautiful. It's also boring beyond hell. It's only an hour 20, so it wasn't like excruciating. And there were a lot of great moments. I thought the ending was very powerful. I thought they did a lot of really cool visual stuff creatively. But the problem is that this movie has no narrative, and so it's basically just watching this donkey get the shit kicked out of it for an hour and 20 minutes. Like nothing narrative really. And then there's this weird side plot because it's basically just watching these different characters interact with EO and how that kind of... It's more about the people that are around EO than the actual donkey itself.
Right.
But there's this weird moment where he gets picked up by this guy off the street, this random rich guy who takes him to his mom's house, and then he's like having an incestuous relationship with his stepmom, but it never gets brought back up again. I don't feel like I'm going into spoiler territory here. The movie ends with the EO accidentally walks into a slaughterhouse full of cows. And we cut to black, and you hear the kind of clicker that they use to like the "No Country for Old Men" type deal.
Oh my God!
Listen, I think that if for whatever reason you are into if you want to just watch something that's real sad,
animal cruelty,
EO will be it. Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, this poor donkey gets. He also there's this one moment where he walks into a soccer game, and he accidentally.
Is anyone watching this fucking donkey?
No, and it doesn't really explain how he gets out of situations. Sometimes it just cuts, and you just kind of have to form how he would have gotten out.
Okay.
At one point, he walks into the sidelines of a soccer game, and he makes a noise when one of the players is making a penalty kick, and so a riot breaks out, and then all the players like just beat the shit out of the donkey because like they're upset that they lost the soccer game, and he ends up in a hospital, and he almost gets put down, but then he like somehow gets out of it and escapes, and at one point he's in a truck, and the truck driver gets his throat cut, and so he's just like on his own again. It's like it's like Depressionville, USA. But it looks so good.
It looks good.
It's like I couldn't look away. I was like, oh my God, it was shot so well. So I'm really split on this because as a cinematographer, I look at it and I go, geez, that's like a masterclass in how movies should look. As someone who was watching the movie, I go, wow, it did nothing for me. And I'm upset because a lot of people really love that movie. It's getting a lot of heat. I mean, it's nominated for an Oscar at the end of the day.
Right.
But yeah, that's what my thoughts on EO. I think I'm going to go with 4 on EO.
4.
Yeah, it's a 4. And also I was reading reviews and someone said, EO is played by 6 donkeys, and I'm unfortunately blessed with the knowledge of that because you can kind of tell at some points where it's like, is that EO? Is that the same donkey? Am I looking at a different donkey right now? Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, the movie about a donkey getting the shit kicked out of it gets a 4.
It does get a 1 score.
George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, they get a 3. Let me ask you this: how was Eddie Murphy as the voice, though? Was that funny? Did he like when? I assume Eddie Murphy was there. You know, did.
Oh, he was great. And when
then I saw her face.
When Mike Myers eventually came in as Shrek, that's when things really.
That's when it was good. So yeah, it was a little slow at first, but once he's like donkey.
No, things turned up.
All right. Does it have a shot in hell of winning best film? Save.
No,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't. I don't think it does. But
All right. Well,
I really do think really snubbed for cinematography though. Jeez, it really looked great. And also, I think this DP's like first time on a major project, so he really killed it.
Yeah. Well, Jackson took in one of the little-known nominees for Best Foreign Language Movie for the Academy Awards. It sounds like it will not be his pick next week. We'll see if that plays out next week on the PGN podcast. I took in another Academy Award nominated film this week. It was my pick for a film that we both need to see. Jackson has been super busy, so he was.
I watched it.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
Well, what do you know? We have a movie that we both have something to talk about. The film this week was To Leslie. This is a small movie directed by Michael Morris. He was one of the producers of the TV show Better Call Saul and is married to actress Mary McCormick in real life. The movie stars Academy Award nominated Andrea Riceborough, also Allison Janney, Owen Teague, Stephen Root, Mark Maron. And it was really good to see Andre Royo, who I remember as Bubbles from the TV show The Wire. He's so good in this.
Who did he play?
He was Royal, kind of the LSD guy. Dropped too much.
He was great in that.
Yeah.
I also thought it was really great seeing. I don't know his name, but her son, who was in the It movies, as kind of like the bully.
Owen Teague.
Good to see him come back as well.
Yeah, he's been popping up in a lot of stuff as well. I have to be honest with you, the one really person that stood out in this film that was kind of miscast. He didn't do bad. I don't know. I didn't care for Mark Maron in this film. I thought I
had the exact opposite. I thought he was my favorite.
Yeah,
I loved Mark Maron in this.
I just thought he was miscast. I thought he did fine. I just didn't buy him as this kind of washed up hotel. He seems intellectual. Every time I see him, he just looks intellectual to me, not like a.
I've seen clips of a comedy special he just did, and it was so funny. Like,
oh no,
that was really funny.
Yeah, Maron's hilarious. I listen to his podcast sometimes. He's good. I guess the big story here, though, is that actress Andrea Riceborough. There's been some controversy about her nomination. This is a movie that nobody really has seen or heard about. Listen, I get screeners of all the nominated films. I get invited to screenings of all the films. And I'd never received any press stuff from To Leslie. It was the result, they say, this nomination of a huge press push, I should say, online from a lot of bigwigs, including like Uma Thurman and Charlize Theron, who really may or may not have pushed Academy members to nominate this woman. And there's actually been an investigation as to whether some stuff was done a little unorthodox. I'm going to put all that aside. She got a nomination, and I got to tell you, Jackson,
I am as well.
Well worthy of a nomination, especially looking at the group of ladies she's nominated with. Now, I know we'll talk about more next week about whether or not we think she will win or if she should win out of the other 4 nominees. But I have absolutely no problem with a nomination here. It is a really, really good performance. And it's easy to say, well, what's the character? She's an alcoholic who kind of turned her back on her child and hits rock bottom and works her way out. It sounds like, I've seen that on a TV movie 800 times. This is a pretty dimensional woman. She says quite a lot, even more with the moments of silence than she does with the dialogue. I was blown away. Not by the film. I do have some problems with the movie. I thought it was a little bow. The ending I wasn't crazy about. It felt a little too like Hollywood. We got to put a bow on it. But her performance in the movie raises it up for me. I'm giving it a B+. Jackson, what are your thoughts on To Leslie?
Yeah, I think we have about the same thoughts as far as her performance goes. I really do think, especially looking at the women who weren't nominated this year, I think that she's definitely deserving. I don't, outside of the women who were nominated this year, I don't know if there was that many performances that I saw personally. Again, I didn't see The Woman King, so I can't really comment on that. But there were a lot. I think that she absolutely deserves a seat at the table. I really am. It upsets me that the commentary around her performance is centered around if she deserves it or if, like, how she got there.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, she acted her heart out, and like you said, there's a lot of moments with no dialogue, especially the moments I think at the beginning where you see her on the street, where you're just like, wow, that's really you can feel it.
Yeah.
It's a really visceral performance that I think deserves talking about for sure. With that being said, I was not a fan of this movie that much. I think that, like I said, the ending I wasn't really solid on, and I just she is a very complex character, but I think that there was a lot at the beginning that made me so angry that it was a really hard road to redemption for me. And not that I'm saying you were supposed to necessarily root for her, because I do think that's the intention. But there were some times where I was just like, the destructiveness got so thick that I if I were to put myself in the shoes of any of the characters, it's the son.
Yeah.
And and obviously I've never had any experiences with what the son experienced, but being someone who had a very loving mother growing up, watching her interact with him, hear about her history, I couldn't find myself in a world where I was going, I wanted her to get better, but I don't think I was rooting for her as a character.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is not the fault of the performance. I think it's just the story in general was just not mine. I saw a clip. I did some research on this. I saw a clip of, I think Charlize Theron actually did a screening of this somewhere. She was holding screenings of this movie, and she would do a speech beforehand, and she said, "This is the kind of movie that sticks with you for a long time."
Right.
I don't really think that. I have not really thought much about this film since I first saw it, and so I think this is a very performance heavy year with movies like Elvis, like
Tar,
this film, of course, Tar. And I think that this is another example of a movie that has a fantastic performance at the helm of it, but kind of falls apart as far as story and execution.
Yeah, it's tough for me. If this had not been as good a performance as it was, this film would probably get a C minus for me. But when you have an A+ performance, I know that there are sometimes reasons to see a movie like this and go, look, the ending's not great. Some of it's a little manipulative. But did I enjoy watching her? I did. And I do agree with you about the whole redemption thing. I didn't think the redemption at the end needed to be quite as heavy-handed. I like the fact that she was doing something, and I would have liked to have seen her on the road of repairing all the damage she had done. It was almost like it all got fixed over one piece of cake at a diner, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, well...
And it was mostly redemption for her. I don't feel like she really solved anything as far as the other relationships went.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I guess it's hinted that it might be in the future, but and listen, I'm all for a character you can't root. I mean, Naked is one of my favorite films, but the point of that movie is that you're not supposed to root for the main character. He's just a bad guy, and there's no redemption.
Yeah.
With this, I was just like, you want me to. I know what you want me to feel, and I just can't. I can't get there personally.
Right.
I think that the performance was a little. I think it carried more weight for you as an actor. I think for me, I definitely look at that and go, wow, that was fantastic. But I don't think it held as much weight to save this from a positive score.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for it with a 4 for To Leslie.
Okay. I think it's, after talking movies with you like this for about a year or so now plus, I mean, I think it's the kind of thing where there's going to be times where a movie, I will look at it, I will forgive it more if I see really good acting performances.
Yeah.
And I think there are movies that you will forgive more if it has something visually unique and different camera-wise.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
You know?
I agree completely.
Where you'll go, yeah, the acting wasn't great and the story wasn't good, but man, it looked really good. And the way he shot this and the way they did the editing and the...
Yeah. EO would have gotten a far worse score if it wasn't for the way it looked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree completely.
Exactly. So there you have it. Okay, so somewhat in agreement. I say it's definitely raised up a bit by the performance. Jackson says great performance, but the kind of elementary elements of the script were a little manipulative and a little too tied up in a bow. And I agree with you on both those. Very quickly, a few other movies that I saw. It was kind of a Julianne Moore couple weeks. I saw 2 films that I don't think I mentioned last time, went and saw in the theaters, called When You Finish Saving the World. Did we talk about that?
I think you might have mentioned it to me privately.
Yeah.
That's the one with her and Finn Wolfhard, and it's like he's a teenager.
Yes.
I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on that because I do want to see it a lot, and I feel like that's a movie that might resonate with me more than it would you, just because of the subject matter.
I think maybe it would. This is a movie completely. It's about Finn Wolfhard, who is from Stranger Things. I forget his character name. He's one of the kids.
I think he's
Will, maybe. I don't know. Mikey. I don't know. Little Pete. Stinky.
Yep, Little Pete.
Little Pete.
Everyone remembers everyone's classic character from Stranger
I
Things.
can't
Little
remember any of
Pete.
those names. I don't know. I know there's a Kate Bush song, and then they go to the Upside Down. Finn Wolfhard and his mother, portrayed by Julianne Moore, they're pretty much the center of this film. There's some other little characters that come in on the sides, but they're the gist of it. Finn is a up-and-coming wannabe podcaster. He's kind of at that age where he's awkward with girls, and he thinks that the one thing that will impress a girl is how many followers he has or how many podcasts.
Yeah, I think he's a streamer. I think he's a live streamer.
Yeah, he streams and plays music, and he's got a Patreon, and it's like, guess how much money I've made here. And he's soon realizing that that doesn't really impress anybody. And then, of course, there's the struggles between him and his mom not understanding each other. This movie's written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, who everyone will know as an actor from The Social Network and Lex Luthor and the Superman movies. It's a short film.
And you know what?
Go ahead.
Just to briefly interject. Everyone always forgets, but God, I think he's so awesome in The Art of Self-Defense. That's a movie that doesn't get talked about enough. We both love that
film. It was so... I love black comedy. Obviously, Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
And art. If you haven't seen that, man, Art of Self-Defense is fantastic.
Super worth it.
It's a very brief film. It's about an hour and a half. It feels a little bit like a first-time filmmaker. You also, I can't help but wonder how much of this is semi-autobiographical. I don't know what Jesse Eisenberg's relationship with his mom. Julianne Moore is always solid, and Finn Wolfhard is fine here. I don't know if it's a huge stretch as far as playing a teen with angst, but he does great in it. Unfortunately, the movie I wanted it to I thought it was going to resonate more with your mother, Jackson, and I think she felt kind of the same way. It's kind of right down the middle of the road.
Okay.
They work well together. The ending again, maybe a little bit too Hollywood bow tie.
Interesting. Okay.
Like, do we find similar ground? But with that said, slightly below average. I'm giving it a C-. But I'd be curious. I think it could possibly resonate with you a little bit more. I think you might feel a little more connected to it, especially with this is a kid who loves music, podcasting, and girls. And I'm pretty sure all three of those are pretty.
That checks all three
boxes for you. So.
I think the one thing I want to say too is that after watching After Sun, I think that the bar for child-parent relationships is just so. I mean, that was such a great movie. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes you see a great movie and it's like, wow, the bar for that genre has now been raised. Yeah. I think that's one of those scenarios, especially because we just watched it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd be curious. It may resonate with you more. It's a very brief hour and 25 minutes if you get time.
Do you know if it's on streaming at all?
It is. Yep. Order
cool.
it on Amazon and come back and tell us what you thought. The other Julianne Moore movie is the new Apple TV thriller Sharper, directed by Benjamin Caron. He cut his teeth directing episodes of Andor and The Crown. It also stars Sebastian Stan, who most people know as the Winter Soldier from the Marvel movies, John Lithgow, Justice Smith from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and Brianna Middleton. This is one of those who's scamming who grifter type movies where just when you think so-and-so is together and plotting with them, there's twist after twist after twist. It's fun enough. It's passable enough. I think the ending gets a little bit into the ludicrous area. I predicted it as well. If you're looking for a twist, it's going to keep coming at you. At the end of the day, it's your standard film that I feel I've seen several times when it comes to a kind of a almost thriller noir about people who can manipulate their lives to believe they're someone who they are not. It's exactly where it should be on streaming. This would get a much lower grade, I think, if it was in the theaters. But if you do have Apple TV, it's a fun enough distraction, and I'm giving Sharper a B-. So there you have it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then finally, because, God, we're going long here, I do have to mention...
I got to hear your thoughts about this. I got to.
Jackson, again, has been crazy busy, but we both kind of jokingly said the big movie we were looking forward to in the next month was the Elizabeth Banks-directed, I'm not sure what to call it, especially after seeing it, Cocaine Bear. Opened in theaters this weekend.
I just want to know how this came to be, because it's just such a weird thing. Like, it had to have just been two people high in a room being like, oh, what if a bear just like sniffed a bunch of coke?
Well,
went on a rampage?
First off, newsflash, this is based on a true story. So this actually did happen. Cocaine smugglers, I believe the story is they've changed it for the film, but I believe some cocaine, because they would fly over the country and drop cocaine. That's one way they would do it, to smuggle it into the country. I believe that some bears in the national forest got a hold of some cocaine that went awry and actually did, I don't think went on a rampage, but did a lot of destruction and maybe attacked a few campers and were actually high on cocaine. This is based on a true story.
Oh, my
God. Now, very, very loosely based, because this movie is completely over the top. I was excited because I thought this is going to be a campy, crazy, never know where it's going, hilarious, silly film. And what it is a movie that's trying to be that. And,
that's what I've heard,
and isn't that. And it's so all over the place with tone. Sometimes it really does get kind of violent and dark, and it's almost a horror film. And then it tries to go into silly, more slapsticky character over the top. And then other times it gets into kind of this gangster standoff. It's all over the map. Stars Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., that's Ice Cube's son, I believe. Alden Ehrenreich, who, if anyone remembers, he was Han Solo in the Solo movie, The Tank.
Oh, yeah. What happened to that guy?
Apparently he's doing Cocaine Bear now. Margot Martindale is one of the best character actresses out there, and she's okay in this. She's fine as the park ranger. But then this is Ray Liotta's last film. And...
This is Ray Liotta's last film?
Yeah, they gave a little tribute at the end in loving memory to him. This is a sad note to go out on. He is not great in this. He doesn't even look well. He looks sick. And it's a bit of an embarrassment for the end. I'm going to blame director Elizabeth Banks, who's an actress. She's been in a million things. I think tonally this movie doesn't know where it wants to be. I wanted to have fun with it. I don't think anyone in the theater with me was having fun with it. A couple little, every once in a while. I wasn't rooting for the bear. I certainly wasn't rooting for the people who were fleeing the bear. It's bloody. It's gory. It's weird. It's not chock full of laughs. Cocaine Bear gets a D+ for me. I was disappointed.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, it's not Ant-Man bad.
It's not nothing. Ant-Man has no excuse. Ant-Man has Academy Award winners.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, it does.
Somebody please stop the Marvel
train.
Hey,
I guess Cocaine Bear does too with Ray Liotta. So
yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Although I don't think Ray Liotta ever won an Oscar.
Shut up. There's no way.
No, I don't think he ever did.
Not even for Goodfellas?
No. I think he was nominated, but he did not win. No.
God, who the hell did he lose to?
He might have lost to Joe Pesci, who was in the film with him. As a matter of fact, I think he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he not support? Would he not be considered supporting in that?
I think Ray Liotta would have been lead. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it was different categories. I don't know.
I'll look it up later.
Yeah, it's our Oscar episode.
Yeah. Okay, I guess my question for right now is, what is there anything you're looking forward to? Because I know we're in kind of the crap season right now, but is there anything where you're like, oh, you know what, this could be really good?
I'm looking for, again, we've had this conversation. I did not like Hereditary. And
horrible take. I just still cannot back that.
Don't like Hereditary. Always tell you I like Toni Collette in it. Don't like Hereditary. By the way, Mafia Mama. What the hell is Toni Collette thinking? That looks horrible.
Let's not even get into that.
I hated Midsommar. Midsommar is one of the worst films I've ever seen. But I'm very intrigued. I am curious about Beau is Afraid with Joaquin Phoenix, which is Ari Aster's third film.
I'm real excited for that.
So
I'm really excited for that.
I'm curiously optimistic, but I'm also trying to remember the source material here of the stuff he's done previously. I'm obviously looking forward to Scorsese and DiCaprio's doing The Killing of the Flower
like
Flower Moon or something.
Flower
like that.
Moon.
Yeah, you went black there for a second. I saw that. Your screen went out. You're back though.
Sorry, someone just
still there?
FaceTimed me. I don't know.
Oh, lost you.
I'm on my
No,
phone.
there you are.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. Someone just FaceTimed me. That was make sure my recording didn't stop. Nope, we're all good.
Yeah,
all right,
you're
cool.
on there.
Yeah. So
Was there something else that I was really excited to see? No, not yet. I mean, as far as trailers go, I don't think so. Oh no! The William Dafoe one, the Willem Dafoe.
Yes. The
Alone, or he's locked in. He's an art thief who gets locked in a house. I am looking forward to that one.
That one. There is a movie that it's not out in the U.S. yet, but it did open overseas because some of my friends that are abroad did see it, called Close, I believe. And they saw it and they said,
okay.
They were like, you need to see this. This is going to be huge.
Okay.
Like, all right. So I'm very excited for
I
that.
have to make a confession. Are you ready? I saw Cocaine Bear because I figured that's the big film I have to. And then I did have a little time to go see a second film. And there are two other small movies that open this week. One is Close, the one you're speaking
it
of.
did open.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah. It's out there. And the other one is Of an Age. I believe Of an Age is a French film.
Okay.
They both are about homosexual relationships. I think Close is about a guy who's coming out and having his first relationship.
Yeah, I think it's two teenagers, I believe.
Yeah, and then, no, not Close. Close is they're grown men. Of an Age is two young boys, like maybe middle school. And I think...
Are you sure? I think you have a flip. I think it's the other way around.
Nope, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Of an Age. And I don't know why. I remember at one point going, well, which gay cinema am I going to? Or...
Yeah.
And I just bailed. They both are supposed to be very good, and I'm going to try to bring myself maybe to see some this week. I've heard great. I think both on Rotten Tomatoes got like a 90+. So
yeah, I've heard only good things about both of them. So
yeah, I was going to go see one, and then I was getting sick, and I was like, oh my god, I already dragged myself to Cocaine Bear, and everyone looked at me in the theater like I was, of the plague, and yeah. So okay, we should try to see that this week if we can. Again,
definitely.
We're very busy. We have to make our Oscar predictions, so maybe we'll see Close or Of an Age, and then Creed 3 is opening. I know I'll see it because it's.
Did you see Creed 2?
I did. It was not very good.
Okay, I didn't see Creed 2, so I'll have to watch a video if I end up doing that.
Okay, here's what you need to know about Creed 2. It's Rocky's last film as Creed 2. I think he's sicker. He might be fighting cancer. I don't know. I don't think he dies, though. I think he's just getting old and ill. And then the big thing is that Drago, remember Dolph Lundgren from Rocky IV, the Russian? Creed fights his son. So it's kind of like Rocky is training Creed and Drago is training his son.
Now, as weird as it is to say, I remember in the first movie, the only thing I remember the first movie actually, is that his girlfriend is going deaf. Oh. Does that come back?
I don't remember.
Because remember, they have that scene where she was like, oh, it's like bullshit. It's how you sign bullshit. Because she has to learn sign language because she's going deaf.
I forgot
and I feel
about
like
that. Yeah.
I wonder if they ever brought that back or if that's going to come back in this one or if that was just like
I'll tell you what,
drop that.
Wouldn't that be if all suddenly they come back and they're like, my hearing's gotten so much better.
Yeah.
Since the operation. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Real lame.
I don't know. I'm not going to revisit.
Huh.
And who's he fighting? Jonathan Majors, the villain from Ant-Man. I'm going to try to forget that. What else did Jonathan Majors? He was just in something else.
He was in the Top Gun-like movie. He wasn't in Top Gun. He was
Devotion, which neither one of us, we avoided that one. Yeah.
We all know my thoughts on Top Gun. I wasn't willing to do that again.
Were you not a big fan of Top Gun?
Oh, I can't believe I didn't talk about this.
What?
Kihoe Kwan came and talked to my school.
Oh, yes.
Kihoe Kwan
Academy
from,
Award nominee actor from Everything Everywhere All
soon
at
to be
Once.
winner.
That's a prediction. Don't do predictions early. That's for
It's not a prediction. It's just
That's a
it's
fact.
just the truth.
That's a fact. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, Jackson. Let's see if I agree with you next week.
Here's what I'll say.
Okay.
He's the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
He came out and he was so sweet. He stayed behind and like talked to people in the front row afterwards. He was giving hugs. He signed some autographs.
Right.
He just could not. You could just tell that he was like. He even said afterwards. He was like, "Listen," because the interviewer asked him if he had anything else coming up, and he's like, "Listen, I used to hate that question." He's like, my managers taught me to always tell people I have something lined up, but I can't say what it is due to constraints.
Right.
And he said that was never the case. And he said, I am proud to stand in front of you and say I have nothing lined up. Anyway, and that's not because I haven't gotten offers.
Right.
He said, I just want to live in this moment because I know this might be it for me.
Nice.
And I was like, God, that was so great. Here's what I will say, though.
Uh-oh. He's an asshole?
And I will make no, not at all. I will make this call out. The guy who interviews people at my school, he works for the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
And he has gotten into a lot of hot water recently for a couple of things.
Really?
He made a false call out to one of the actresses in Black Panther, the one who plays his little sister. He perpetuated some fake story that ended up coming out as false, and he did a whole piece on it, and she kind of flashed back on Twitter. But also, there's this clip that has surfaced recently. He did a podcast with David Crosby once, and David Crosby just goes off on him. They're just talking. He asked some dumb question.
I actually have seen and heard that interview.
Yes,
I've seen that.
He goes, you're kind of dumb, that? And he's like, well, great.
That was this guy?
That was this guy, and every time he does one of these talks, there's always one question where you just go, oh, why did you ask that? I remember him asking the actress from Squid Games, he asked about her weight loss. I remember it was Halle Berry, he asked about how the Catwoman suit felt to wear, like, on her skin. And in this one, he goes, I have two questions left. And he goes, the first one's going to be a real bummer. And the second one's going to be a positive note. And he goes, this is his question. He goes, so how does it feel, in the middle of the success of Everything Everywhere All at Once, to see such a spike in Asian hate? Oh, come on, guy.
Oh, my God.
What are we doing? And Key handled it really professionally, and he talked a little bit about how, it was a tough period for him and having to watch his family be scared to go out in the street and stuff.
Right.
But it's like, A, we're at the end of the interview. And B, the way he framed it to be like, how does it feel to be successcul and rich in the middle of all your, fellow brethren getting hate crime?
Yeah.
It's like, God, what a dick question to ask someone. So I don't know. I wish they would get someone else to do these interviews.
Why does he teach at the school? Why is this the guy?
He teaches at the school, and it's his podcast that they're coming on to. So they can't. No one else can do the interviews because it's his thing. And if he doesn't do them, then it's not like.
Ugh.
We stop getting people. So my dean does do some of them, but those are the ones that are through Chapman, and they're not the bigger ones.
Right.
Like we have Austin Butler next week. We had Brendan Fraser this week as well that I couldn't make, unfortunately. But yeah, he just always has moments like that where I'm like, okay, let's take a step back. Why was that a question you needed to ask?
Yeah. I think I would be good at it.
I think you would too. And it's really
be good.
And
I love the interviews when they just have a conversation. I don't like when they have a cue card of these are the 10 questions I'm going to ask. You can have a cue card that has maybe an idea of where it's going to go or things that I hope come up. But then
he reads only off the cue card. That's his thing.
You have to go with the flow. Like an answer might lead to something else. Be like, oh, you know what?
Of course,
tell me about that because I never would have. But I'll see guys that look at the cue cards like, okay, I got to hurry up and get to question number 5, which is how did the director get you to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, ugh.
The best one that I've seen as far as interviewing goes was when they had the Duffer Brothers because they had it was the associate dean they had the associate dean do it.
Right.
He's never done one before. He used to teach the Duffer Brothers in class, and so they have been talking for a long time. So it was like, oh, this is someone who knows them,
right?
Who can knows what questions to ask, who's been around the block enough, and it was a conversation. It was like, wow, that was so refreshing. And then it went next week right back to just Oh yeah, so I heard you lost a lot of weight because of Squid Games. Like, how do you? I was like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah. How did you lose a lot of weight? I made myself throw up, you asshole. What do you think?
It was just. It wasn't even that. He was like, the question was, he was like, I heard that you were so stressed out when Squid Games was about to release that you actually lost about 15 pounds, and I was like, what? Like, why does that? That's such a non-question. I don't even know. It was just some dumb, BS.
All right. Well, maybe one day, Jackson, you'll be an alumni of that school, and you'll go back as the guest moderator.
And I'll request to be interviewed by literally anyone else.
Anyone but. Jackson Burns, where can all of our multiple fans that you can count on two hands follow you?
Yeah, I'm on social media at Jackson N. Burns on Instagram and Twitter, and I think that's kind of it. YouTube, Jackson Burns.
Yeah. How's your YouTube channel doing? You've been. Has it had to kind of take a back seat a bit?
Yeah, I've been working on something for a long time now. The script's almost done. It's taking I'm doing a lot of research for this one, so it's taking a good chunk of time.
Gotcha. Well, please make sure to check out Jackson's YouTube page with the upcoming project Ode to My Father. I assume that's what it's called. You can follow exactly what he's following. Follow me on Instagram at Regan.Burns and follow us on Instagram also at PGN Podcast. Please like, subscribe, everything. Whether you're listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, or some other platform, we would appreciate it. 5 stars, 5 stars. Next week, Jackson, it's the Oscar show. All of our predictions, who should win, who will win, and Creed, hopefully 3, and maybe even Of an Age or Close if we can get out for one of those smaller art house films. It all depends on if I feel better and if Jackson doesn't flunk out of school. Also, we'll probably be broadcasting live next week from Jackson's new bachelor pad. You'll get to see it. We'll go room by room and tour exactly how it's going to be destroyed during those raging film student keggers.
Oh yeah, we go crazy.
Whoop,
we do.
All right. Anything else, brother?
I don't think so. I think that's
all right.
it.
That was we gotta try to do once a week. That was just too much. It was
a lot.
marathon of movies.
If you stuck around, we appreciate you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, all 3 of you that are still here, of which were 2 of you. Love you, buddy. I'll see you next week. I'll see you tomorrow.
Love you too. See you next week. All right, see you tomorrow. Good point.
All right.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Peace out, everybody.